Hello Loomers, this is Chidero and I'm bringing you this fabulous design that was brought to me by Rainbow Loom Adventures. It is a fairly simple design, which is one that we love, and you are able to incorporate charms into. It's pretty cool because it has a variety of colors. It kind of bubbles out in between where you would put your bling, and you have a lot of color options. So this one is pretty similar to what she had posted, except we're going to change out these bands right here for some clear bands. The colors that she had chose, which I would love to use as well, is the Persian Pink by Rainbow Loom, Glitter Gold, which is fabulous, and this is like a medieval green. As you all know, like, I'm so not up on the exact colors, but I think you get the gist of it. Maybe it's like a medieval neon green, I'm not sure, but it's awesome. So all bands used today will be by rainbowloom.com store. The charms that I choose to use are very similar to what Rainbow Loom Adventures had used on her original design. These bling charms are 4-hold charms, so meaning that you'll need 2 bands, which will bring out 2 ends on each side for you to put on the loom. You will need 5 of those. You will also need a, where did it go? You will need a threading tool, which mine is usually, it's just a wire that is used to thread jewelry. Very thin wire, a thin gauged wire is preferably what I suggest. And lastly, your loom hook, but your loom will need to be set up in a 4-pin configuration like this one here. So you have one that is up, 2 that are going to be in the same position, down 1, and your last pin will be at the same height as your first. So let's grab all our supplies and get started. So the first thing we need to do is lay our foundation, and this is what we're going to use to clip our design together with at one end. So right here I am going to use a pink band. Oop. And we're just going to place it on the 2 middle pins like that. Now we are going to take 2 more pink bands, and we're going to place it from the 2nd bar pin over to the first one on the left, and from the 3rd bar pin over to the last pin on the right. So now we're going to continue with that color, and we are going to go into a little bit of a different configuration, which this one will go from the 1st bar pin over into the middle, and the next one is going to go from the last bar pin, 1st peg, over into the center. Okay, so after we complete that, we're going to start going into the it's kind of like a round design, and that's what's going to bubble out on your bracelet. And with that one, I'm going to use my clear or my glitter gold bands. So we're going to start from the last peg that we just placed bands, and we're going to take that over to the left, and we're going to take that up 1, and then we are going to take it back in. We're going to go over to the other side and do the exact same thing. So take it from the center over to the right, and we're going to take it up 1, and then we're going to take it back in. So this is where it leaves off. You're not going to put any type of crossband over there. It's just going to be in this type of a configuration. And we are going to go back to this design right here, which is just like our two V's put together. But we're going to use clear bands in those areas. So we're just going to place one on either side going out, and then we're going to place another one going back in. So it's going to kind of make a little bit of a V on both sides. So those are going to be the middle pieces where you're going to have your bling. So then we're going to go back to where we placed our glitter gold bands, and we're going to go back to that pattern. Take your band out to the left one, up one, and back into the center one. And go ahead and do that same on the other side. Take your band over to the right, take it up one, and back to the center. And again, we're going to have all of this center row is going to be clear. There's no bands, there's no connectors. So in continuation, we're going to take our clear bands, take one out to the left, and bring it back into the center, forming a sideways V, and replicating the same on the other side. Going to turn it a bit so we can see better. Go back to our glitter gold, and we're going to go back from the center out to the left, up one, and back to the center. On this side, we're going to do the same exact. Out to the left, up one, back to the center. So we're basically just going to do this a couple more times just to finish it off. I'm just using the one loom. You can very well use two looms, and that way it will wrap all the way around your bracelet. But with doing a tutorial, and a lot of you knowing that my tutorials last for like 6 hours, I'm trying to keep it at a minimum. So I'm just going to do the one loom, showing you the basic principle and allowing you to decide if you want to go 2 looms in length or not. So this design does go all the way to the end of the loom. So we're just going to place our last 2 bands on this step. And there you have it. So just to recap, what we placed was, if you can see the glitter gold, it goes all the way up the pattern, and that's what we had just placed those bands. And what I did on this one in particular is I put glitter gold on the sides as well, but in replace on this one that we're making now, I use clear bands, so that way it gives it a little bit more of a this is wider, this is thinner kind of a look to it. So our next step is to add our bands that are going to go straight up our loom. So for that color, we chose the medieval green. So we're just going to simply place 2 rows, single rows, all the way up the loom. You can choose to go up 1 row at a time or do them at the same time. I'm going to do mine at the same time. So it's just 2 rows up the center of our loom. I like this green, it's a pretty color. I don't use green very often because I'm not very color suave, choosing different color patterns and whatnot. But the one that Rainbow Loom Adventures picked for this design There was no other color option I chose to use because I thought it was beautiful together. Okay, so we got our 2 center rows all the way up, and we're just going to go ahead and push those bands down because we're going to add another row on top. Okay, so our next step is to add some other cross bands that are going to form sideways V's. So if you look at your design, you can see that you do have this circle shape here, and then you have your cross bands, and then you have another. So on just one loom, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 of this circle design. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the Persian pink, and right in the middle of this circle design we're going to find the 2 middle pegs, okay, and we're going to take and place one band going from the center, and you have the one band that's straight, so we put a glitter gold going to the right, straight up, and then back to the center. So you're going to take from the middle and place that downwards to that peg there, and then you're going to go back to the middle, and we're going to place a band to the upper part of that straight band. So you see it's making a V in the center right of the circle. So we'll go ahead and mimic that on the other side. So we're just simply going to go from the center down, and then go back from the center and then up. So now this kind of completes where you're doing your V's. Every peg will have some type of V going on it. So again, here's your center or your circle, and you have a V going this way, a V going this way. So we're going to skip this part because it already has V's on each side here, and we're going to go to our next circle, and we're going to go ahead and place a band going down and a band going up to the right. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to place a band going down, go back to the center, and place a band going up, making that V. So we skip 1, 2 pegs, go to the center, bring a band from the center down, go back to that center, put one up, going to this side. Okay, so we skip this right here, and we have one more circle left at the end of our loom. Place your band down, go back to the center, up, and last time to the center, down, from the center to the right. So we kind of like closed in our whole bracelet by doing that. Every one of these bands are they're all closed in with a V, and then you have your line that's going up. Okay, so we have one more step for placing bands, and this band is going to go from the second bar pin up to the third bar pin, second pin, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to use a gold, and that way it will stand out. So we're just going to place our band diagonal like that, and we're going to do the same thing over to form an X. So we're just going to follow that pattern all the way up our loom. It doesn't matter which way you place the bands, if you want to place your left one first or your right one first. Our whole goal is just to get these all the way up the loom in a X configuration. And it's a good idea if you have your bands pushed down so so you have room to place these. Wow, I haven't done a tutorial in a while. I'm sure this one's like, Okay, and we go ahead and continue that to the end of our loom. So we want to go ahead and push down all of our bands, because now we are going to start the looming process. So we don't need any cap bands. Well, just one for the beginning, but we don't need any on the of our loom. So we're going to go ahead and turn our looms around, and this is what your loom should look like. It's very colorful, but obviously you use any colors that you prefer. So because I used this glitter gold for these star shapes, I'm just going to go ahead and place a glitter gold down here. So we're going to wrap it around these two center pegs, and then we're going to twist to make an X, and we're going to cap it off on both of them. So we're pretty much going to loom this the same way that we placed our bands. And don't worry, we're going to add our charms or bling, but we're going to loom some of this out first before we go ahead and do that. So we're going to start in the middle, and we're going to loom up all of these gold bands, all of your X bands. So reach into this second bar pin and grab the top band, which is the gold one. And we want to take that gold back to itself. We want to do the same on this side. Grab the top band, which is the X band, the middle band, the gold one here. And we just simply want to loom all of our X's up the loom. This is a pretty standard way of looming, so I'm just going to go ahead and loom these up quite quickly. And it kind of forms this really cool, like a chain down the middle. I think I need to invest into a camera stand that's like above my head so you can see better. I hope you can see. If you can't, please comment below. Okay, so now all we did is simply loom up that middle chain of X's, and it makes it really cool design. Okay, so go ahead and push all of those down. Okay, so we're going to go into the order that we placed the bands. So the next looming process that we have here is our side bands right here that we placed up in between our round shaped areas of the design. So we're going to go up into the second pin here in the middle and just grab whichever one is on top, which in my case is the one that's going down. Loop that back down to the first bar pin, second peg, and go back in and loop that over to the right. So we are looping from the center out. Okay, so we'll go on this side, grab our top band, loop that down, this side, and loop that one down. So we're just doing the ones that we placed here. In my case, they're pink, so I'm going all the way up into here, grabbing that top one, pulling it back down, go over to this side, pulling that one down. Okay, and we're going all the way up to our next set. Here we go, and we have one more left. Okay, so we have two more. Going to loom up. We have two more processes to go. So what we're going to do next is the same way that we put it on the loom is the way we're going to loom it out. So if you can see under this cap band, our next band to loom are our single chain rows that are going up in the middle. So reach down under your cap band, grab that top band, and bring it straight up to itself. And I just prefer to do mine at the same time on both sides. So I'm just going to do that side and grab this one on this side. So you have to be careful when you come to, it's your third pin up in the middle, because we have these cross bands in here, that we don't grab one of those. We just want to go in and grab the top band, which is the green color for me, and bring that up. And same one here. Just make sure you're grabbing your middle chain band to bring that one forward. So we don't have any other bands that are on these pegs right here, so we know that that's our only band in there, so it's technically the bottom band. But this one we do have to be careful just to grab the top band and loom it forward. That one's a little bit mixed. There we go. So we loop these all the way up to the end of our loom. Alright, so now that we have that step done, which was our middle chain, okay, so now that we've reached the point where our last step is to loom up all of the sides, and that's what will hold this bracelet together, this is the point where we're going to add our bling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that aside, and let's bring over our bling. So we are going to use 5 of them. I have 4 of them already threaded through. So as I said, mine have 2 holes. You can see right there. So one goes from one side all the way up to the other side. So I needed to have 2 bands, a set on each side. You can use any type of bling that you'd prefer, but this would be the most difficult. Usually it would just be maybe just one band going in the middle. So I have 4 done, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did one of them. So we're going to grab our threading tool, which, like I said, mine's a really thin gauged wire that's used to thread jewelry, and I'm going to use clear. So I'm going to place this clear band on one end of this wire and let it fall all the way down into the center, so it's like a V. Okay, and then we're going to take the charm and we're going to find one of the holes right here. So we'll stick that in, and we want both ends of that V to come out on the top, and just pull easily until it is centered on your bling. So we take our threading tool out, we'll grab our next band, open up that to shape a V, and we're going to place our band down into the center, let it fall all the way down, and go into our second hole. Make sure that both parts of your threading tool enter and both sides come out. Pull through and pull out your threading tool. So it's pretty simple. Just going to make sure that your thread is thin enough to go through whatever hole of your charm bling that you choose. Okay, so I have to give props to Rainbow Loom enthusiasts because I always bling while I'm placing bands. Okay, so sometimes you'll see that I have my bling facing down because when I loom it, it's the other side that it has to show up on. So this is pretty cool to me because I never loom my bracelet and then add it. I don't think I have. So this is pretty neat. We're going to find where these crosses are, where these V's are in between these circles. Okay, that's where we're going to place these at. So make sure that your bands are pushed down. So mine, like I said, they have 2 bands on both sides, so I have to find 4 pegs to put this on. I think I'm going to go ahead and place these. I did do it like this the last time, and it kind of, I don't know if it bunched up, if it was me that made it bunch up, or I do have the option of placing it like this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just stick with doing it because it is kind of oblong. So I'm just going to take one side and put one band on this center peg, and then we have this other band left right here. Grab my hook. We're going to take that and we're going to bring it down into this peg here. So we have 2 left on this side. Take the top one, place it on the adjacent peg that we just placed the right side of the bling. We have 1 left, and we're going to take it and stretch it down onto this peg here. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it fits nicely right in between. So the good thing about looming your bracelet up all the way thus far and then placing the bling is that none of these bands in the middle will cover up your bling. That's what would have happened if we would have placed it first and then loomed up our center. So props out to Rainbow Loom enthusiast for that one. So we're going to go ahead up into our next cross area, and we'll do the same. We're just going to place these 4 bands on the 4 middle pegs. Bling is no joke. It's not. This is a simple way to add bling to a bracelet, which is great, but sometimes it gets pretty challenging. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. Make sure your bands are pressed down. You can use your fingers, but to me, because I have 4, it's easier to use my hook. That one there. So I know I did say that we were going to use 5. We can use 5. This right here, I placed them just directly into the center of 1 loom. Okay, so if you're using multiple looms, you're going to double your amount. So we can also place them right here. Okay, so we have these cross that, and this one would be right up against your clip. So we can go ahead and do that because we're going to have to add a chain anyhow. And I know, I always say it, nobody likes chains, but when it comes to bling, I don't want it on my wrist. On the back side of it, it kind of wastes. So we can go ahead and add one on each end. Okay, and we'll go back down to the beginning. And so this one is the circle design, so I don't want to add one right here because this one on the opposite end, it ended with our cross V's here, so it will kind of match up whenever we're done. So I am just going to 1, 2, 3, use 4 of them. So our last and final step is just to loom up the sides, which will connect our bracelet together. I'm just going to go ahead into this peg, grab underneath that cap band, go over to the left, and follow all the bottom bands that we have left on this design. That's all I'm doing. Making sure right here that you go all the way down to the bottom and you're grabbing that clear band or the band that's going out to the left. That is crucial. You have to grab all of these bands here. On the outside, it's pretty simple to see that that's the only band left, but make sure that you are grabbing the bottom. See, like that one I had the clear and I had this glitter. All I want is the glitter one. And you'll know because it'll make your teardrop shape. If you grabbed all of them, look over on the side. And this one, and you know, we use different colors going up, or I use different colors, so they're not always going to be the same color. You know, like those were the clear ones, this one is the glitter gold. There is a lot of bands on these middle pegs. So we bring that one out, bring this one over to the center, push down. Okay, so that's our right side. Now we're going to go over to, or that was our left, now let's go over to the right and do the exact same thing and close this up. Making sure you grab your bottom bands and your middle pegs, have your bands pressed down enough where you can place them, the band on top. Okay, so we have our last one here. I'm going to grab that one, take it to this side of the center. So because we placed this band on the bottom first, we're going to have, that's going to be our capping band, or our band that we're going to put our C-clip on. So I'm just going to go into this left middle peg, grab that bottom band, bring it on over, kind of pull a bit. Then I'm going to take my hook back a little bit, place my finger on that band, go down into the center right, grab that band, the bottom band, which is the same one, have it come over your peg. Okay, so it's in the middle like that. So you can kind of let it go. It's not going to go back in, but I'm still going to hold it, these two, with my finger. You can keep your hook in there, or if you have another hook. But what I'd like to do, which I probably should have did first, but I want to take all of these side bands off the loom before I pull it. Which you can do with your fingers as well. Alright, so we're still going to be careful pulling this off because we have bling on it. We have a lot of bands in the middle, but I'm going to put this back up on my hook all the way up here, and I'm going to be very careful pulling. Actually, I might just take these bar pins off because they'll probably fall off anyhow because it's pretty tight. So I'm just going to kind of push out and up and just kind of give it a little bit of a tug, not too hard. And there we have it. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to have some bands that you might want to fix because they might get, you know, they got caught or whatnot. Just kind of line them up right there. Give it a little tug. And I love it. So if you can remember back on the first one I did, I used glitter gold on the sides. Okay, so it kind of looks a bit jumbled, and you can see here it has the clear bands, so it really makes it nice where it comes together, you know, right in here where your bling's gonna be. And they kind of look like little butterflies. So give it a tug, fix it on up. Here's the back side, which is also awesome. You can also wear it on this side as well. I really like this bracelet. It was simple to make. It's a neat design in great color combo as well. So there you have it. Again, we want to thank Rainbow Loom Adventures for this wonderful design. Please go on Instagram and check her out. Follow her. She's got a lot of great posts. And we want to thank her for this garden bracelet. And if you did enjoy this tutorial, please go ahead and press the like button. And if you'd like to see more tutorials in the future, go ahead and submit to my channel, as you're going to see lots of bling bracelets coming up soon. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time, let's bling. Okay, so now that we have our bracelet off the loom, it is not quite long enough, only because I used one loom to go all the way around my wrist. So I do need the bottom part of my wrist covered, so you would just simply add a single chain onto the end here. So I'm going to pull this up a bit and just put a band on here, pull it through, and it won't take many because this design is fairly long and it's not too tightly woven, so you just need a couple. And to me, it's worth adding a couple as a chain than it is to do a whole nother extension, which you would probably only do half of a loom like a loom and a half would probably fit perfect around a normal size around a typical size wrist. So let me see here. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that might even be too many. Oops, twisted here. Nope, actually 6 works just fine. So I just added 6 to the extension. So that's what it looks like on your wrist. It looks fabulous.